I'm hitting digital. Let's play the intro real quick, and then we'll get started. Or am I muted? I'm muted. There we go. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast, and today the Pink Bella Show. We do this every once a month. We get together, and it's really fun. I always have a blast when Pink Bella comes on the show, and the audience really likes it. You guys really like our. Okay, thank you, Winter Homestead, for confirming the chat works. I was thinking nobody was in the chat, but anyway. But everybody likes when Pink Bella comes on. We always do like deep dives into like the topics you guys are interested in. So it's going to be awesome. Today, we're going to be getting into the galactic battle that's going on. We're going to be getting into the mind matrix control system, the Galactic Alliance, and many other things. So it'll be really interesting for sure. And then Pink Bella, she specializes in deep dives into Akashic records, Galactic Akashic records, clearing personal ancestral contracts, patterns, karmic loops. So if anybody's interested in a personal reading, you can super chat or PayPal, whatever you want to do, and or just put your question in the chat, whatever. She's also an ascension way shower and to prepare starseeds light workers in the 144,000, higher self liaison, quantum multidimensional healer, and 1222 chakra meridian systems, starseed origins and galactic councils, light transmissions. And she also does pets and stuff like that. So she does a lot of different stuff. So with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Pink Bella, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I am doing amazing. Super excited to be here. Stoked. We got lots to cover. I feel like when we're apart for this long, there's more to cover.
I know, right? Unfortunately, it's always. I mean, it's never anything like amazingly good. You know what I mean? It's always like, unfortunately, it's been bad lately.
It has, say the least. We'll try and put a positive spin on it and bring in a little bit more information, like from a galactic perspective today, to see what else is going on behind the scenes, what else we need to know.
It really feels like that we're in a silent war, though, right?
Does it feel that way? We are. Yeah. So when I did the thumbnail yesterday, that's when you sent me that clip, that's what it came in right away. So the galactic battle, that's what we're seeing, everyone. Like, it's not like in Star Wars, we're not going to see people with laser guns at this time. We're seeing that it trickles down into all the different dimensions. So in the third dimension, the battle is for land. The battle is to still remove as many human beings out of the equation. That hasn't stopped. It just kind of went on the back burner, but now we can see they're focusing on areas with very high quality of minerals and all that, and that goes back in history as well. So that's the galactic battle we're seeing right now, is the weather patterns, is the hurricanes, is the fires.
I got a question about that. Do you think the minerals or like the lithium or something? Do you think that's something that secretly the ETs want? Like,
we're going to look at, I think what we're going to do is we're going to look at, I've got my galactic deck here today too. We're going to look to see who's involved. So I mentioned the Galactic Alliance. So that's who I work with, and other starseed way showers work with the Galactic Alliance as well. These are benevolent ET groups that are watching over our planet and helping us. So why are we still seeing all this? Why are so many people suffering? It's for a couple of different reasons, but I still feel we haven't won yet. When people say that we've won, it's a future timeline that we're working towards. So we're literally seeing, the battle's still ongoing. And you know what? My prayers go out to anyone that's been impacted with all the events this year. That's, I was saying to Rob before we got on, like, started in Jasper, Alberta, which is just near Banff, which is like all those beautiful photos you see about the Rocky Mountains. It's a very small, quaint town like Asheville, right? So it seems like they're picking like these heart-centered little places to really stir everything up. And then it goes back to Lahaina a year ago as well. Same.
I know, right? It started there, and then they hit North Carolina. They also hit Georgia and Kentucky. Yes. They hit Florida. It seems like
it was huge. The East Coast was huge.
in Wyoming too. Wyoming, right? You know, like the
Yeah.
and like it's weird because like some of these places there's involved minerals, other places there's 15-minute city planning. So it's like how could anybody not be? How can anybody be blind to this? You know what I mean? I mean, you can call me. People can call me a conspiracy theorist all I want, but when things start connecting the dots, it's almost like it's hidden in plain sight. You know?
It is, and it's huge. It's waking up all the people that are involved personally.
Yeah.
So similar, like Lahaina was so far away, right? It's an island. So stories were coming out from the locals, but it's so far away. Like how could we all like fly over there and assist, right? Like it was a very localized scenario. So same with, I mean, the regular local people that are either involved, let's say, let's look at Asheville, like that are involved there, that have had like no power, no food for, weeks, that haven't been able to get out, noticing that they're not being able to get things in. And it was similar in the way that Lahaina, same way, the locals pulled together and started saying, well, if they're not going to help us, then we're going to start working together. So that's a real positive thing that we as humans, that's what we do out of a horrific situation, a very sad situation. We all come together and we work together. So, and a regular person is going to question, how did a hurricane like jump from the coast and go inland into the mountains? And absolutely,
that's the thing, right? It went 400 miles inland, and if you look on the map, it was starting to get close to. I mean, like we didn't feel any effects of it here, but Kentucky is like 4 states, like maybe 3 states down from me. It's not that far. So like, and I'm in like, I mean, like it's crazy. It could definitely happen here too.
Yeah, and if everyone does the research, which everybody who lives in that area will now know if they didn't know, it was slated for a 15-minute city. So was Jasper. So was Lahaina. So we see the pattern, we see the agenda still unfolding in front of us. And so that's what I mean, everyone. Do not take to heart everyone who says that we've won the battle yet, because we haven't. We're still in it. And what we're seeing it unfolding in 3D. That's what they're doing in 3D. And then the other ETs are sort of sending out the commands, and then we'll talk about the Archons in a little while too. So where would you like me to start? Where would you like me to pull some cards about?
Maybe just around the events, whatever you think, whatever resonates.
Okay, well, why don't we do Asheville, and then we'll look at the hurricane pattern down in Florida that just happened. Okay. And then we'll go up to Wyoming. And I just saw a clip like in Wyoming, and just so sad. Like the elk were literally running away from, like, they were just, a bunch of them just didn't even know where to go. And usually wildlife is very ahead of the game. So that means, to me, what I saw was it came in super fast and super hot, and it trapped a bunch of them. So hopefully they got out, and hopefully there's people that are assisting everybody for sure. Wow. That's what they did. So that's what they did in Jasper, and all the fires down the Rocky Mountains this last summer. They made them so hot that they just evacuated everybody, and nobody was able to go in and help. They just told everybody to leave, and including the firefighters were not allowed to go in. So let's ask the Galactics, and then I'm going to pull some Galactic cards too, and just see what else we need to know about Asheville right now. Okay, I got number 8, emotional withdrawal. I'll just pull a couple of cards because I want to see what the Galactics say. And number 14. Okay, so they're letting us know. And then, okay, bottom of the deck is heartache and loss. Like, you just can't make it up, right? Like, so many people were impacted by what happened in Asheville. So many people lost family, lost their homes, lost everything. Many people got trapped and weren't able to get out. So that's the heartache and loss. And so that's another heart center opening and awakening for everyone in the area, everyone around on the East Coast, everyone in North America. Like, I think everybody around the globe knows about Asheville now. So that's like super, like, let's laser focus in on the East Coast, the Southeast coast of the US was focused on. And you know what's so interesting is before that happened, or it was just around that, remember all the ports were closed for a little bit as well in that area, but they reopened. There was a port strike, but they reopened pretty quickly as well. So let me just see. So, okay. So I'm already getting, like, with the emotional withdrawal, and I'll pull some clarifications, and being patient. The Galactics are asking us all to be patient with what's unfolding. They're like, it's exactly what they're sharing through me, that they haven't won yet. The white hats haven't won yet. So they're trying to like intercept the plans, but of course some of the plans are still unfolding, right? And it's probably because it's probably like it's a chess game. Nobody really has the map of where they're going to go next, and they just try and go in and help and assist as best they can. So we have the justice card came in, so there will be justice for what's occurred. Okay, and then let's see what wants to come in for patience. Okay, so the magician card came in, but it came in upside down. So it wasn't what they're letting me know is it wasn't manifested by fear. Nobody knew what was happening. They didn't know either. And the second kind of goes into what I've been working on for myself as well. It's like they put everybody in that area and on the East Coast has been in a very deep spell. A very deep spell. Like the last 4 years has not kicked a lot of people into gear to understand what's happening. So that it came in upside down. So now the spell has been broken. Okay. Which is good.
Yeah.
That is
I just wanted to say that, like, I felt like even though, like, you know, there was a lot of damage done in Tampa, I was just talking about this with someone else too. I feel like we stepped it up and we helped a lot. I mean, I can't say for sure, but it seemed like every channel I know, like, for example, on my channel, I had Sean Bond on, and we did like a meditation where we tried to dismantle the hurricane. And then it wasn't just my channel; it was like all these other people. Some people were doing like heal the weather. I told someone else this too. I heard there were even Greek Orthodox priests like standing on the beach praying. So it was like, it was interesting to see the collective come together and see how like we could change our reality with our mind. And then, you know, all of a sudden the storm went from a category 5 to a category 1 or 2. You know what I mean? So I feel like collectively we had something to do with that. And that was a big win, you know, for everyone that put their mind together thinking that we can manipulate our reality for the good, you know?
I agree. I saw so many starseeds and light workers coming together for the first time to like first time that I saw it globally, like on some, like your channel. Thank you for doing that. Like on so many channels, so many people were focused on let's focus on a positive outcome and not get into the fear and the drama of the story. Because that's also what the other team wants. They want everyone to go into fear. They want everyone, like if they announce it's going to be a category 5, they want everyone to go, you know, into that, because we're such powerful creators, which we're all learning that we're such powerful manifestors and creators that we can come together and shift it. I agree. I feel like it did get descaled by the help of everyone on the planet. Yeah.
Also, so we talked about this too, but what Sean said and what other people said, they said that there was multi levels of evil behind what was going on in Tampa. They said that they were really focused on, like, you know, driving that one home. Like there was a big agenda behind that. But I'm not saying by who, but someone, you know, like someone had a really big agenda in mind with that one. He said there was like definitely multi levels of layers of evil. Does that resonate with you as well?
It does. Yeah, I agree. So I'll just wrap up. I just pulled a couple cards for Asheville. So let me just see. I won't read all of them. The Galactic Alliance was involved in trying to descale what happened in Asheville, and the Dark ETs came in, the Orion, the Galactic War. So the Dark ETs were part of that unfolding. They did create that. Okay, so it wasn't a natural disaster, which we all know, but it's always nice to have confirmation, right? Yeah, I think that let's look at the multiple levels of the evil that's here on the planet, which we, you know, you, me, Rob, we still every day get little pieces of information and we're shocked about what is going on and how deep it goes. And I feel, what were they sharing with me? That maybe we can just even talk about the Archons. So I've been working on these different levels, these pieces this year, and the Archons really kicked up their game with me in April, but I didn't know until July. So think about those old nesting doll games, you know, where you open up the doll and then there's another doll, and you open up the doll and there's another doll. I think they used to make them in Mexico. So to me, what I was shown is the Archons are the architects they're the outer one. They're the outer realm, and they've created this matrix, and they're also sending out commands to all the other ET groups. So for whatever reason, we can pull some cards about it. For whatever reason, they're really focused on Florida right now. And absolutely, I loved that I saw a bunch of souls decide to stay in Tampa and help. Some souls I saw were in high rises, so they just decided to stay and see what they could help as well. And there were hurricanes and all, and tornadoes, and it was crazy. But yeah, there were multiple. For whatever reason, they really had their eyesight on Tampa and Florida. So let me pull some cards about that for sure. Yeah, and I would say absolutely. So they're pulling out all stops. So the multiple levels of evil would be everyone on board. Like, we want this, right? We want this. So let's pull everybody in. So what I've learned about the Archons, to me, what I've been shown is they're like the high level cyborg AI like battalion group, and they over time they become sentient, and so they are hanging on to the Matrix for dear life. Like, they do not want this game to end, so they pulled out everything right now to stop it. And then we absolutely have dark ETs here on the planet. We've got all sorts of levels of the Luciferian stuff, like you name it, people creating black magic, everything. Yeah. So let's pull some cards about Tampa and see what else wants to come in. Heart chakra. So it really pulled everybody together into their hearts to try and bring it right. So that we look at tragedy and we realize, like, look at humanity. Look at how everybody globally came in to work together. All right. And because I know there were people all around the world that were sending prayers and doing meditations for Florida and for Tampa. We got number 11, balance. So some of what happened was to bring balance back into that area. And number 10, destiny. So let me just see if there's, I'm going to pull one card and just see what ETs were involved with that. Okay, I'm already hearing from the Alliance, they're saying that the plan was going to be much bigger. It was going to be even larger than that, and it was, in a way, like, they monitor us every day. They check in with us every day and have these meetings and see how everything's going. I'm getting goosebumps. They're so incredibly proud of humanity, how everybody pulled together. And we're all being shown, right, that even with our differences in our belief systems, like some people prayed, some people meditated, some people, did grid work, created crystal grids. Like, it didn't matter about the differences, that the intention was from the heart chakra.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So let me.
I think that's pretty powerful that you got that card, and I think that kind of drives it home,
Yeah, and okay. So what they're letting me know, even with the destiny card, we got the 9 of Wands, and that's like a wounded warrior. So the destiny of what's happened to certain individuals has changed their timeline, and it's changed everybody's timeline. So on some level, I guess that's why that sort of happened, but it did descale. So there was much less damage than they thought it was going to be, right? And we all thought it was going to be. But what came in with the balance card, which is an 11, is the Ace of Swords. And this is what I had heard. I had heard that there was a big clean out operation in Tampa. So like, I had heard that there's multiple, and I even posted something in my Telegram group. There was a news report about tunnels under Tampa in the 90s, I think, or maybe 10 years ago. It was on Fox News. So somebody else had found it. So they talked about all these tunnels that were under Tampa. So let me just see. I'm just going to ask the Galactic deck, like, who was involved with this scenario. And okay, we got so the Galactic Alliance was involved in as well with assisting everyone. We got the Arcturians, unconditional love, right? Believe it or not, I know I've talked to other people too, like, why is this happening? And it just goes back to, we haven't won yet. So and I've shared this a million times on Rob's show, we'll know when we win. We'll all be out on the streets dancing and singing and, like, going, hallelujah, the chains are gone. So the Sirius team came into. It says unfinished business. So there was a cleanup operation. And what else? Pleiades came in as well. So the Galactic Alliance was absolutely assisting on many levels with that. And if you think about it, water comes in and it cleanses, right? Water goes in and it cleanses. I don't know if any of you have ever had a pipe burst. I had a pipe burst a million years ago, like on the equinox. And you know what was so interesting about the water? It went down to the floor below. It only went into one apartment and it didn't go to the one below. It chose to go like 2 over and it chose an apartment.
Wow.
And I watched, and afterwards I thought that, and I wasn't as conscious as I am now. And I remember thinking, well, that's super interesting that water needed to go to one location only to cleanse it. So even when the water came in, and if you think about Tampa, there was a warning. So many people evacuated. So many people chose to evacuate. So that was super cool. I loved that.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. What you wanted to talk about the Matrix mind control system too? What's that all about? Yeah, I have a feeling.
Well, you and I talked a little bit about that yesterday, just in our notes. So, and there's a lot more coming out about this, but humanity has been under a spell for thousands of years through, and in modern times, they're using television shows, news media, radio. So that's like one level. And then how I've been, so those of us that know, right, we know we're still able to listen and watch things and share things, and don't get too hung up on the language that they've used, because it's like we're hearing a story now of how it was set up. So we're hearing a story of like what they did to create us to be asleep, but we're not asleep. We're awake. Yeah. And we still need the verbal language at this moment to communicate with people. I mean, otherwise you and I we'd all be telepathing right now. We wouldn't be sharing, right? So it's a bit shocking to find out that everyone's been under a spell, that they used books and movies and radio and our words and all of that. It can really rip our heart open when we remember, because we're remembering why we came here on mission. So I remember when I heard about all of this, I think like 2014, 15, it started to come to me and I was just like shocked. People have tried to come up with like new dictionaries and it's not taking yet because we're not there yet, right? Humanity's not there yet. But the thing is like, don't get too hung up on, I can't say these words anymore because they're spells. No, it's about our intention behind it. So the mind control has been going on for thousands of years. And it's just ramped up probably since technology ramped up. I would say maybe World War II was when it really started to ramp up, like late 30s, when there were many different people around the planet that were doing lots of research and using technology, which is probably dark ET technology as well, right? Probably conveniently gifted to them. So the mind control and okay, so let's even as example, there's a super full moon in 2 days. Is everybody feeling it? I'm feeling it. My cat is feeling it.
It's already been here, like it, and it's kind of like made its progress here. Like it's like the moon's already looking full here. Like it's. I mean, I don't know if it's completely super full yet, but I mean, it's getting there.
Yeah. Apparently, this is the closest. This is the biggest one. Like, there's been 4 in a row, so this will be the third one. So it's officially not till Thursday, but I would say I already saw people acting out on Monday. And my cat, before the show, he was running around the apartment. So it's daylight, right? So that's how he's dealing with it. He's like zooming around. So so I know that we didn't talk about it today, but I know that the moon. We've talked about this before, and other people have done shows on your podcast before, that moon, it was yarded into our atmosphere as a part of to me, it's not natural. I feel like those that are not bothered by the moon frequencies, I know that it's changed now, like it's been tweaked, but there was an original moon at some point in time, but this one in particular can really set people off. And I'm noticing that it's setting the normies off, like the ones that maybe aren't so conscious. I noticed that on Monday when I was out doing errands. So to me, it's still in a way like a mind control experiment. Now, did you know that we have 2 moons now, that another moon arrived at the end of September?
It seems like it, right? Or it seems people have filmed multiple moons, people have filmed multiple suns, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with that. It's really strange.
Well,
right?
I loved how the official channels announced it as if it's happened before. So they're like, oh yeah, the second moon's going to arrive on September 29th and it's going to be in your reality for 2 months. And we're all like, really? So I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Rob, but when I pulled some cards on it, I got that it was being brought in to help stabilize and bring in like a better balanced frequency to the other one.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So the mind control still is going on. And I feel those of us who are aware of it, we can set positive intentions at the beginning of our day and whatever we're doing. Like even before this podcast, I just was like, wrapped us all in light, made sure that whatever we share here today is not attracting any lower vibrational energies. Because what I figured out with the Archons is, because it's so technical, they're the masters of the matrix, it's all digital. They don't have a soul. They don't have a heart. So they're still trying to control everyone. They're trying to control everyone through the matrix. So knowledge is light, right? So the more that we know about it, so we can talk about it, but we know like they don't have a spell over any of us anymore that are able to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah. So what about you? Like, what did you want to talk about with the mind controls? Because I know you messaged me and sent me some clips as well.
Well, I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. It's kind of, I think, but Renee brought it up in the chat. She said it's called Wait, let me see what she said here. It's
no, that's why they call it spelling, right?
She said hypnotic suggestion. Like that was a
yes. Yeah. So there's still that going on in movies and films. And so I think we talked about this last time. So if you all listen to frequencies or you're watching a show, if you start feeling weird and start feeling like icky, turn it off. Because that means it's like a low vibration. I absolutely know that they've been using the moon to send out these frequencies as well, like low vibrational frequencies, because you can just see it, right? Why would we have something in our atmosphere that would make everybody go cray cray during two times a month?
I also think that there's like some things they can even do on even like YouTube or wherever that kind of are used to like siphon your energy. For example, like I could put on something like a binaural beat and like it's supposed to be something positive, but I'll start to feel, if I start to feel like really negative from it, and sometimes I can feel like really set off, and like I'll start to realize I'll be like, this is what's affecting me, and it's supposed to be something good, and you realize it was to energy siphon you. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's like you really got to be discerning. But I guess what's good is like with like all of our powers turning on and stuff like that, we can recognize this stuff. You know?
Yeah. So trust your feelings. So one of my superpowers that came on as well, like trust that, Rob. Like if you're feeling, I had that too. I think I listened to something new a week ago and I immediately felt icky. Like I immediately felt my vibration stop. So I just stopped listening to it and I moved on to something else. I think it's a good idea too, to take breaks from the internet, everybody. So I don't know if you all have, like I've gone backwards now. I've got like a little regular CD player again, and I can listen to the radio if I want. And like I can listen to music that I've downloaded on an MP3 player, just so I'm disconnecting from the internet for a while, and that yet I can still listen to music. So that's what I decided to do last year. But we are to take breaks. And I think that that's a perfect thing too. Like if you do go to nature, which will reset you, try not to be listening to something when you're there. Like just try and shut that off for 10, 15 minutes so you can reset. But absolutely, they're on to us. They knew, you know, and I mean, that could be another show just about the whole new age thing. They knew that a bunch of us were going to wake up and start moving into high vibration and ascending. And that's the other part of the game. They don't want us to ascend. And ascension is, to me, I've been talking about this recently too, is our golden ticket home. Many of us came here and reincarnated to do multiple things, but many of us want to go home. We want to go home to our star families. So to do that, we're being guided to do certain things. So absolutely just do what you need to do to keep your vibration as high as possible. And notice, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to notice like, oh, that makes me feel weird. Oh, I'm feeling off right now. What can I do to raise my vibration? And yeah, they're still at it because the game's still ongoing. So once I figured out so let's talk about this. So the Archons are the masterminds behind all of it, but they don't have a soul. So they're the ones that are in charge of the reptilians. They're in charge of all the lower, like it kind of trickles down, right? So the Archons aren't physically here, but I kind of see them like they're in these mastermind computer centers sending out commands. Let's like, it's, if you think about what's happening on the planet, it's almost like that board game. What was that board game where everybody wanted to take over countries? Was it Risk?
Risk.
Yeah.
Risk.
So I feel like that's
I used to love Risk when I was a kid. I used to play that all the time.
So I feel like that's what they're doing. They're like, oh, everybody's paying attention over here, so let's go over here, right? So what was happening before that? The big Hollywood story was happening before that. So everybody was focused over there in California, and then a bunch of stuff started happening on the East Coast. But that's what I mean. But it did unify humanity, which is good. What were you going to share?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like people don't play board games anymore. You know what I mean?
I love board games, and I love card games too. Like I just love that old fashioned stuff, right? It's so fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, so sometimes on our journey, like that destiny card that came in, sometimes we're like, oh, that was destined. And then what I started to realize was the beings that are trying to mess up with our reality, like to be seen or on our mission, are really at the top of the game of the Archons, because if they see that many of us are helping too many people, they don't want that at all.
Yeah.
And it's a mathematical formula to them. So they can be one step ahead of us and mess up numbers, have things happen on social media. Things don't arrive. People can't connect. It's been like one ongoing Mercury retrograde, I feel. It's like,
I know, it's crazy.
August.
I'm dealing with a lot of the same stuff, like constant computer issues, streaming issues. People, it's exactly the same thing. You know what I mean? Like something don't work on my phone. It's insane. It's like, I was saying when I had Amanda Jonah Hart on yesterday, I was like, it's almost like they know before I'm going to do something before I do something. You know what I mean? And to me, that's not any kind of like physical watching. That's like, I'm sure the government can watch you and stuff like that, but this is like more of like a manipulation of the matrix. This is like targeting by entities, like like Archons. Like this is, and I'm sure they do it to everybody because they want the world in a frenzy right now. They don't want us to be able to focus.
Absolutely. And I was very upset and angry of like when I figured out who was doing all this stuff to me this year, and then I laughed. And I just forgave them. And it freed me. It freed me because I thought, I'm not part of the matrix, so you can't control me anymore. You have no right to second guess me. So they come through social media, they come through the internet, they come through the electricity portals as well. They come through appliances. Like I was shown one night that they were using my dryer as a portal to come in.
Wow.
So it's just like, and the game is exhausting everyone. It is a game. Like that's the thing. So we're awake from the game and we know what's going on. And I started to like scan for myself and other clients to clear out any tags or any tracking tags or anything that they've set up. And for me, this is crazy. They installed something when I went to the Giza Stargate 1 million years ago and it was cloaked.
Wow.
And I was like, because I went like in the 90s. Okay. So nobody was even talking about shielding or anything like that. So just beware, everyone, if you go to some of the major stargates, that there's some booby traps still because we haven't won yet. So just be aware of that. And I just also helped another healer. She went there last November and suddenly in the last couple of months, she had like severe pain just show up. And when I scanned her, they had installed something. So.
Do you see this getting worse? Do you think they're going to try to hit different places with different things? And like, should we all kind of be on guard, I guess? Like,
yeah, maybe I'll pull some cards about that. Okay. So I just pulled a couple cards just about Tampa and I'll just show one because the heart chakra came in again. Okay. So overall, the root chakra, like it really hit the root chakra. What's the root chakra? It's our survival mechanism. So it really shook everyone. It shook everyone in the area. It destabilized our root chakra, as in a lot of people probably didn't feel safe right? Like even star season light workers, I know a lot were impacted by what happened in Florida. So I think it shook everyone to the core. So it shook up everyone's survival chakra. But again, the justice card came in. So it's going to make us all as a group stronger and more, I was one of these love and light workers for a long time, everyone. I did not talk about the dark ETs. I didn't even know they existed. I was all caught up in the love and the light, and I didn't want to look at that. And guess what? We all have to look at it because it's part of what's unfolding. And my team came to me in the lockdowns in 2020 and said, you have to start going down rabbit holes and you have to start looking at all of this stuff because it's going to come to fruition. It's going to come out in the open. And many clients and many souls are going to be shocked. So I feel like that's even happening to star season light workers or like healers. Everyone's getting a bit of a taste right now of like what's really going on. Right. We're not supposed to stay in 5D and la la land all day long. Like if we're living near a city or you know what, we're boots on the ground. We're front crew. And we're to help. So we're not to have any fear about going out and being with the regular people and doing our grid work and all that.
Speaking of boots on the ground, I was supposed to go to this, but I couldn't go. I didn't have the money to go, but I Indigo Angels on a trip right now with I think Missy Hill's with her, and I think Brooke from the chat. Her name is Brooke. I know she was going, and Indy made it like really affordable. It was like $100 for it's a grid work trip basically to Arkansas. And what she found there was she found I guess she found when she was in Hawaii, she found a huge crystal there that was linked to this crystal deposit that's in Arkansas. I guess Arkansas has the highest crystal deposit there, so they're doing a grid working trip there. But like for me, it was like I really wanted to go, and I hope what I wanted to say is I hope they have a really good trip. I hope it's like really successful. But like for me, it was just like I couldn't get the travel and all that stuff together. So, but I mean, I think they're going to do amazing. I think they're going to do really good stuff. I'm happy for them. I hope if they see this, I hope they have a great time.
Yeah.
And
I went to Arkansas in 2012 for the 1212 Gateway, and I had a massive activation, Pinnacle Mountain. So yeah,
that's where they're going.
So no, I did everything backwards. I went to a lot of the locations for activations and didn't know really what was going on. But a lot of souls right now, you're needed in the cities. I'm finishing up the piece right now. We're going to reconnect the Big Island to Mount Shasta and then stabilize with the Galactics. We're stabilizing the coast in California because the earthquakes have been ramped up, and the earthquakes are also sort of destabilizing everyone's root chakra in California. So originally I was given that we were going to do a bunch of stuff in LA, but there's still too much going on there. So we're just going to kind of stabilize and allow more star season light workers to do their work, which is cool.
Yeah.
So everyone's being called to do something, but if you're in a city and you're out there doing your work, it's needed, and we're grateful. Absolutely.
Yeah. How about this? You want to hear something interesting? I only have like 2,000 subscribers on Rumble, but some of my videos like have like 4,000 views. I get more. Some videos have less views, but then some videos get more views than my amount of subscribers. You know what I mean? And I think that's because a lot of people from YouTube tune in to Rumble, but then they don't subscribe or whatever. They only watch this video or that. You know what I mean? But I got an email from Rumble saying that if I plan on streaming on election night, they said they would drive more ad revenue my way. They said to let them know. They said if I decide to stream on election night. So I talked to a couple of my friends. I was like, maybe we should do a stream on election night, and just I mean, I don't know. That would be on Rumble. This is like a seed I'm planning right now. I'm not for sure doing this.
Are we on Rumble? Are we streaming on Rumble today?
No, not yet. I was going to, but then I didn't. I don't know. But I mean, Tiffany says let's do it. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Do you want me to? What were we talking about before that? Pulling cards about
something. Oh, we were talking about we were just kind of talking about whatever. Like I think we were talking about the Matrix mind control system, which led into grid work and how we are all have to be prepared, and we were kind of on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I had my power went out in my building last December, and it really went out. I hadn't experienced that here. Like I was just about to get on the elevator and the whole system went down. So all the elevators came down to the main floor, and then I realized, where are my batteries? Where is my flashlight? Do I even have extra water? Like I didn't have anything. So I actually started preparing last December. So I've got extra water in my fridge. I have some extra supplies. I found out I can't use my gas stove if I wanted to make anything. So that doesn't work when the power's out. It's all connected. So it's not out of fear to have some things on hand. It makes sense because we never know when the power's going to go out, when the grid's going to go out, when, that's something that at the moment with humanity, that's not free. So we don't have any higher ups kind of taking care of that for us. I think that's a shock as well when we realized that that was probably very shocking for everyone in North Carolina, that all the powers that be that were supposed to come and help them didn't.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
I mean, I can't even imagine people who have babies or they have elderly parents or something like that, because it's like, that's two hard things to deal with. Like if you're traveling with a baby and you have to evacuate a city, or you have an elderly parent and you have to evacuate a city, I can't imagine what those people are going through. Like my heart goes out to them. It's crazy,
Yeah.
It's
so there's very powerful light workers on starseeds that band together with vehicles and trucks, and I saw someone actually with planes taking in supplies as well. So private citizens were working on that as well. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other questions about the Archons, but they're the architects and they're basically electronic. They were they were created and then they became a sentient race. So they're kind of like the masterminds of, and we think of the Matrix, it's digital. That's why everyone has always talked about the science is always based on mathematics. So it's digital. So that's how they can get to us through social media and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that they can actually act as mental parasites too. Either they install mental parasites in people or they are the mental parasites.
Yeah. It's both. I feel like it. And so that's another good reason to take a break from social media, because our mind, if you think about it, our mind gets connected to our devices. So it's really, I can't stress enough, find some type of detoxing, meditation, clearing, at the end of your day to let all that go. Even if you're just listening to binaural beats, because and if you want, if you can hook that up to a speaker so you don't have earplugs in or something, because that's what they want. They want everyone to to stay connected to their devices. And then then they can send out energetic parasites. Yeah. It's crazy. Did you want me?
One of the things we have to worry about here, and I'm guessing you too, is I don't know if it gets like this there, but for us, a worry would be winter. And I don't watch David Wilcock much, but I was watching David Wilcock the other day, and he said he got snowed into his house last year. And he said it was 5 foot above his house. This is David Wilcock, the I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I do.
He was saying he had to do all kinds of stuff, light his gas stove with matches, and he was giving all kinds of tips for preparedness and stuff like that. It's you never know, and that's what we can face here in Pittsburgh. They can definitely hit us with a snowstorm that would take. It gets really bad here. It gets really bad.
Well, we were supposed to have that here in Northern Canada last year, and we did not. We had no winter. We had no snowpack. They went the other way. So now what I'm working on is I'm working with the dragons to help stabilize the weather patterns. And I asked if I could do that, and we're working on that. I'm bringing more rain in because we just had another weekend of temperatures in the 70s. Okay, it's October. We're over the non-rain now, right? So I worked with the dragons and we just had a big rainstorm last night. So they do all the work. This is what I've also learned about the dragons, is they are actually balancers of all of our waters, which includes us. So that's why they can work with us. And they also are able to bring rain in. So it makes me also wonder if the rainmakers that we've heard about in the past, if they also worked with the dragons, for sure. But yeah, preparation for snow. Right? If you're not close to anything, you make sure you have a little bit extra food, some candles, some flashlights. We We don't know. And it's always been that way, but now we understand that they're manipulating the weather, right? So that's a big wake-up call for a lot of people, for sure. So I thought I would just pull just another round of cards, just if we need to know anything about the Archons and the mind control.
Michelle, I said Michelle's prepared. Michelle says she's prepared living in a van, solar, gas stove, diesel heater, 42-gallon water. It's amazing to be that prepared in a van, you know?
Well, I was going to say, I think I've been talking with her. I can't believe how many people I see that families are out living in vans and mobile homes. And they're cruising around Canada and North America, they've gotten to that point for obviously reasons that things happen to get them to that point. But some of them just made choices of let's go spend time with the family and see all the nature and always have our supplies with us for sure, right?
I'd love to do that. I wish I could do that. I wish I could take my show on the road and just go from state to state and get in a motor home and just live in it. You know, I would do that for sure. You know,
how cool would that be? And then you wouldn't have to be. So I think, you know, even like let's look at like winter hits the northern part of the US and Midwest, and same with Canada normally, right? Like there's huge storms. So they used to call Canadians like the snowbirds. The snowbirds back east would go to Florida, and the ones here would go to California or Arizona. So that even changed during the lockdowns, right? It didn't happen as much, but I think even maybe people in Florida are even reevaluating living in certain areas there now too, right? Just because of what happened.
Because it's every year. Every year there's a hurricane season. I know that from when I used to surf. Like we used to go like wherever there would be a storm, we would go a little bit more northern of it. So like if there was a storm like in Florida, we would go to like North Carolina or Jersey and surf, and like, you know, because the waves would go up the coast kind of, you know, like, but it was like, and it was every year. Like it was, we've been getting, remember, this goes all the way back to Katrina is when it started getting bad. But like, I don't remember much before that. So, but I remember Katrina being the first really, really bad one. And then that started.
Was that the one that hit New Orleans?
Yeah, that was one that hit New Orleans, where they had to broke the levee and stuff, and water was like, you know, and people were, you know, riding around the city in boats and shit. You know what I mean? It was
I know some Starseeds that relocate. A lot of Starseeds, like not a lot, but a few I know relocated after that. Like they had grown up in New Orleans, they relocated to other parts of the country because of that. So, you know, and at the time we probably thought it was destiny, but now we can go back to all these events and go, no, that wasn't destiny. They were already playing around with the technology. So,
Art Bell talked about it a long time ago. Everybody says you can't say this on YouTube, but I think you can. It's HAARP, HAARP. You can do I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Everybody do your own research, but again, Art Bell covered it a long time ago, and he was on to something, you know. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there now too. So we'll wrap up Florida, but then let's look at Wyoming, right? Because we didn't look at Wyoming yet. I just remembered.
Yeah.
So overall, just to wrap up with the Archons, now you all know that they're sitting at their little keyboard, sending out their control systems to all the other dark ETs, which are here. People are seeing. There are shapeshifters. People are seeing them. People are seeing the reptilians. They're seeing people like go in and out. And that's with the veils being thin. By the way, we're in October. We're heading towards Halloween. So there's going to be lots happening for the next couple of weeks. But anyway, about the Archons, we're to make choices about. So pay attention to how you're feeling around electronics. Do you need time in nature? Do you need to drink more water? Right? You'll move through it super quickly. You'll move through that feeling. That's what I wanted to mention. My superpower since August, since the Lionsgate is I get super nauseous and my throat closes up around a lot of dark energy. So I could be out in a store. Like I was actually out in a store and my throat started closing up and I felt super nauseous. So I did what I needed to do and got out quickly. Then I asked questions and it's like a whole bunch of toxins and electronics and AI stuff have been pushed into the store as well as the food because it was a grocery store.
Did I tell you? I don't know if we did a show since this yet. I don't know if I told you what happened to me. I know I told you over social media, and I saw you. Now you saw I posted on Facebook, but like I woke up at 5 a.m, and I've told this story on my show.
Yeah, about your microwave, right?
Yeah, and I don't even use a microwave. I don't use a
know.
microwave at all. But what happened was I woke up at like 5 in the morning, and good thing I woke up, because when I woke up, I was making a cup of coffee, and I happened to look over at the microwave, and the microwave's wired into the wall, right? And so I couldn't find the plug for it or whatever, but it kept saying short circuit on the board, and it was beeping real loud, and I was like, why is it beeping? So I kept trying to like hit the button to like stop the beeping, and then it kept saying short circuit. Then I started smelling something like burnt. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I got to do something. So I called the fire department, and good thing I did, because I guess there's a microwave breaker, which I didn't know about, like in my apartment.
That's good to know for all of us.
Yeah. And so, yeah, if you have a microwave wired into the wall,
I'm looking at it. It's wired into the wall, and I don't use it either. So thanks for letting me know that.
Yeah. And they found the microwave breaker. They shut it off, and they said they had this like gun type thing. It wasn't a gun, but it was like almost like a radar type thing they put up to the wall, and they said my wall was heating up. It was over 90 to 100 degrees. If I wouldn't have called, I would have had a fire here. So I almost started thinking, was this targeted? Were they trying to take me out, or what? You know what I mean? Like I was like, I didn't want to get paranoid, because I was like, you know what? It could have been something benevolent, like my angels were making sure that didn't happen to me. It could have been both. It could have been spiritual warfare
I remember I couldn't respond that day. I had to message you a couple days later because I had a crazy day that day already, but I did respond later. But I'm glad we're talking about it. I'll pull some cards about it, Rob, because it could have been twofold. It could have been that it was like a lot of things have been happening to a lot of starseeds recently, like electronics, appliances, vehicles, like things have just been crashing. And in a way, like we are always being protected, even though it doesn't feel like it. But in a way, you were smart enough to listen to your intuition and call the fire department and get it sorted out. So that's good, right? So let me just pull some cards for you about that, and then maybe we can look at Wyoming and see what's going on there. Does anybody have an update about Wyoming? Is the fire still going?
If anybody has a update on Wyoming, just let us know in the chat, and I'll put it up on the thing. I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah. So I'll pull something about because that's the thing. That's what they showed me. I didn't even know about them coming through appliances. Like I always ask at night to my security team and the dragons to make sure they close everything down in my apartment, and because I'm in a multi-level complex, so I'm like over anybody else's stuff. Like none of that energy gets to come into my apartment. So I do a whole thing for the whole neighborhood now. And I had a dream. This is why we pay attention to the messages in our dreams, where they showed my dryer and they showed it light up. So they were using my dryer as a portal. And guess what? I don't even have smart appliances. It's digital. So they can still come through.
I think they travel through electronics, right? People told me that spirits can travel through electronics, and like
yeah. So now I make sure everything's closed down, including the dryer.
So I'm
going to pull a card or two just about your microwave and just see what wants to come in for you. Crown chakra. That's your spiritual connection.
That's weird because my crown's been buzzing again lately. That's weird you got that card.
Yeah. Okay. There's nothing really coming yet. Let me just pull some. We want to know for Rob what happened with the microwave and what that was all about. Okay, I'm already hearing that they're saying your benevolent team, your angels, did make sure that you were awake when that happened and that you were able to handle it as well. So I can't remember when it happened, but I feel like it happened around the same time where a lot of people's either appliances or technology, phones crashed. I had a starseed recently just message me, and she said her car just collapsed as she was driving out of New Mexico to Arizona. She had to leave it. So it all kind of happened around the same time. Okay, well, the message is actually more for you, not about the microwave. You're supposed to spend a little bit more time outside.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Actually, I have a show at 8:00 p.m. tonight, but that's in 3 hours. So as soon as we finish up here, I'm going for a long walk. I'm going to get some exercise. I just wanted to say one other thing. I think like everybody should be, and you probably would agree with this. I think we should all be extra vigilant over the next couple of days that this double full moon's coming, because people are going to be acting crazy, and that doesn't mean
drivers, like if you're driving, be really present. be really present with the
and
drivers.
and that's your appliances could also go haywire too. Your computer,
Yeah.
your tablet,
Yeah.
all that stuff. You know, your phone.
Yeah.
So don't throw your phone in the street because you get pissed because it's not working. Just kind of maybe restart it.
Although I know we all want to do that sometimes.
I know, right?
So I wanted to share with you too, like what I noticed through Mercury retrograde, which I feel like we're still going through this. So that's when it happened. And it might have happened for you too. We had 2 back-to-back X-class flares, like in 24 hours. And we had one that was the biggest one we've had apparently since 2017. But I mean, who was paying attention to them back there? Not too many people. So we had an X 7.15 and then we had an X 905. So when it gets into X classes, which is the only time I ever post about them, it flattens us. But apparently it's also flattening appliances and vehicles. It's almost as if the wave of light that came in was like 1,000 feet, like as a surfer, like 1,000 feet wave came in and it just flattened everything that needs to be upgraded. So your microwave didn't make it. And I noticed that through Mercury retrograde this last year. Like in the last year, I've lost a phone. I think my hair dryer blew up, a fan like stopped working. Like I really find with Mercury retrograde, that's another thing that happens is the electronics just go, yeah, we can't go on with you now. We're going to go later. So I did get your benevolent team was looking after you. The Palladians came in. And you're going to love this message. It says devotion to service, which you are. You're devoted to your mission and to being of service, right? So yeah, your Palladians, your benevolent team were there helping you. So it wasn't a targeting. It was more of the appliance just couldn't move forward with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say right about that time when everybody got new phones. Like I got a new phone, you got a new phone, a bunch of people got new phones. Like it was like everybody's phone was like malfunctioning at one time.
Yeah, and I couldn't even order the one I wanted. Everybody was sold out. So I had to I ordered like a no-name brand I was on Amazon all night, like looking at reviews. Knock on wood, she's been great. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, and that's what my higher self said. Your phone can't go forward anymore. It was like 5 years old or something. So yeah, and I feel like that in a way we have to look at like everything's being upgraded. So did your microwave did they just take it away?
They didn't fix anything yet. They just haven't addressed the situation yet. So I mean that's what you get when you're what I mean.
That's okay. I had years ago. I had a microwave in the apartment and I didn't want it. So I actually asked my landlord to come and take it away, but she thought I wanted it fixed. So her and her boyfriend came over and fixed it and plugged it in. You're not gonna believe it. Within 24 hours, it fell off. And that was it. It was over. Like I didn't want it there and it didn't want to be there. And it's so interesting. And I got
to say the people, they're really nice here that I run off with. So they're really amazing people. It's a guy and his daughter. They're really good people. Like, I don't want to say where I live and I don't want to say their names, but if they're watching this, they're really nice people. But, so
did they take the microwave away? Obviously, because it caught fire or something. They take it
away?
No,
they just shut the breaker off.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's like they got to figure out. They probably have to figure out whether it was the microwave or it's the wiring behind it. I have a feeling it's the wiring behind it.
Yeah, but you're making me think because I don't use mine either. But it's plugged in, and the clock is working. So it's still like in theory it's in use, right? Like even though we're not starting it. So
yeah.
Did we have an update about my Wyoming? Wyoming? I apologize. That's a cross thing. Thought I would just pull some cards about it. But yeah, I think a lot of us are not very keen on microwaves. I don't use mine either, but at least you were awake, Rob. At least you heard the beeping and at least you went to check in on it as opposed to, right? So around that time that happened to you, this is also like how I knew the Archons were like trying to irritate me. Like 2 times they did something. They brought a fire alarm at 2:30 in the morning for the whole building to evacuate. There was nothing wrong. Then 2 days later, there was another thing going on in the Walmart docking bay that was all night. It sounded like an engine, an airplane engine. So that's when I started asking questions. My apartment is facing the mall, but it was this loud engine sign. It went on all night. So
I think something weird's going on with Walmart. What are they doing? They're
one of my
I guess they're open all night. So
I was told there was a tunnel under that Walmart. So I just So I was like, okay, boots back on the ground. What can I do to help? Right. So yeah, I didn't get any sleep for like 2 nights.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just pull a couple cards
crazy.
about Wyoming, because we know that I already know, you already know that the fire was not naturally set. So let's just see what else wants to come in about that. Oh yeah, and I did mention Andromeda, didn't I? We didn't talk about that. Okay. So again, okay, so it says emotional loss. So again, it's to touch everybody's heart. That whole area is very special. Like every area they pick is very special to a lot of people. So it's really hit the heart chakra of everybody in the area, as well as the wildlife and all the people, you know, in the Wyoming area and everybody who knows around it. Mental conflict came in, and so this is what happened with Jasper. Within a week, everybody in Alberta knew about the 15-minute city. So I don't know if that's come forward yet for Wyoming, but I bet you where the fire is, there's a whole bunch of plans that were in the background around that area. So the locals will know that information. If it hasn't come forward yet, will come forward for them. And then it's going to put everybody, yeah, okay, so she was saying a bunch of minerals there too. Yeah, so people are going to start actually putting 2 and 2 together, that even where they are right now, it's not protected like they were told. Is it a national park by any chance? Do we know?
I'm not sure.
Because apparently all the national parks are just covers for other plans.
No.
Okay, so yeah, so it's about money. It's a money and land scenario. So we know about that. That's just to confirm what we all thought anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So prayers go out to everyone who's been impacted, and all the wildlife too.
Yeah, really, in Wyoming and North Carolina and Georgia and Kentucky and Florida and wherever else, you know.
Yeah, in California, Oregon, Washington, where I am, British Columbia, all throughout the Rockies, there were so many horrendous fires all summer to move people out, move the animals out, right?
This is crazy.
It is. And it's gonna, unfortunately, in our history as humanity, we start to pull together when we see what's going on. So instead of everybody going home and unplugging and just not knowing who their neighbors are, everyone's going to start working more together. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Me too. I just saw somebody type in about Andromeda. I had mentioned about the Galactic Alliance, and just a brief note, I pulled some cards for us, and the Andromeda and Dragons came in, which is super cool. So I want you all to be really proud of all the work that you've been doing and all the healing and all the remembering and whatever. And we can get angry about what's going on. Absolutely. Anger actually moves us into our mission. Because when people are angry, we're allowed to be angry. We're allowed to be angry star seeds and light workers. It moves us into our mission, because then we can ask, how can I help? What can I do? And if it hits a chord with you, any of these incidents, then you're being called to assist in some way. Okay. So just be aware of your triggers. So I work with the Galactic Alliance, and just one last piece they wanted to let me know is that the Andromeda light ships, we've all done so much work where the vibration, even though it's crazy out there, the vibration of ourselves and the grids have raised so much now that the Andromedan light ships are here. They're close by. So they're also now part of the Galactic Alliance. So that's super cool. So the Andromedan one will be happy about that.
Yeah, he's here today. He's usually a lot more active in the chat. You know what I mean? I was like, it was like a hard show. I was like, where's the Andromedan?
I saw him. Yeah. So guess what they're saying? So this is what came in with the Andromeda Dragon, higher heart activation. So that whole exercise brought the whole world together to move into our higher heart of compassion for everyone. I don't live there. I had compassion for what was going on. I said prayers. I, got together with a group. We did some healing as well. So we all focused on where is our light needed? What can we do? So it was a high heart activation, everything that's unfolded in the last couple of months. And that as well has, like, if we think about all of our shadow work in a backpack, like it's really heavy boulders. Do you just think about we've been throwing the boulders out, so it's lightened up our load, and that's allowed the Andromedan light ships to come in and be part of the alliance. So we got the dusky pink dragon from Andromeda, preparing all of our chakras to radiate more higher love. We can still be angry, but also have love and compassion for ourselves and all the other people that are going through what they're going through. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was an interesting comment by Tiffany, and I'm looking it up now because I hadn't heard anything on this.
I did see that. I just saw that. Yes. Well, when the 4-letter agency announces things, because they announced about the 2 moons, makes me wonder. Makes me want, like, to me, okay, so this is the message. You guys can go on my YouTube channel and like see what came in. But when the 2 moons came in, one of the messages I got from the Galactic Alliance was, we're preparing you all to start seeing other things in the sky. Like, it's time for us to graduate past like just the regular planets. Right. And then also people are going to start seeing ships. So isn't that interesting that they announced that big starship fleet coming to Earth, and it's coming through them, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Never a straight answer.
I know. So I did. Yeah, you can look it up, Rob. I did see somebody. I'm back on TikTok, everyone, as well, if you want to follow me on TikTok. So I took a hiatus for a couple of years, but I'm back. So let me see what else wants to come in about the fleet. I think so. The veils are thinning. So we're going to see down here, we're going to see the truth about what's happening, which we just talked about, all these events that are heart wrenching. We're going to see people shapeshift. We're going to, we're also going to start seeing more objects in the sky as well. So they have, in a way, they kind of have to drop the information, don't they?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Oh, this is interesting. They're letting, okay, so this is all of us manifesting this fulfillment of wishes. So everybody wants disclosure. And, but we're to choose wisely, they said. 7 of Cups. So we're to choose benevolent ETs. So any ships that show up in our area, we want them to be benevolent ETs, okay? But that's super interesting. Yeah, so we're manifesting it as a collective, that we're ready for contact. It's not about the 4-letter agencies telling us what we already know. Because if we think about it, we're the light soldiers on the ground. We're the ground crews. So people are taking videos and posting information, and that the agencies have so much paperwork, they can't keep up with what we're all doing.
Yeah.
So let me just see what else wants to come through. Cool. Okay, we got the Temperance card with the fulfillment of wishes. So we're more balanced as a collective. We're more ready to understand there's life on other planets and there's other ships. Yeah, that's cool.
Wow. But I thought this was a good show today. I thought this was interesting. This is definitely a fun show. I don't know.
Yeah, really fun. I always have fun when I come on the show.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we finish up?
I don't think so. I think, hold on. Let me just see. I did do a reading, but I put everything away except for one card, which is important. So let me pull another dragon. Okay. So this is interesting. We got Archangel Michael's Deep Blue Dragon, which is very much about clearing and protecting our homes, or clearing a path for us if we're in a lot of obstacles. So basically this, from now until Rob and I do another show, make sure you're clearing your energy. I could say light shields, because light shields are actually, it's like we're putting a cloak, a bubble around our energy field. So nothing penetrates it, just sort of deflects. So in other words, there's still people out there who are not conscious of what they're saying or doing. And when people say really, really negative things, it's like daggers being thrown at us. So who wants that? So you can set up you can go and listen to meditation. So they're just saying, like, through the super full moon until the next time. And I think you and I probably won't be meeting until after the elections. So there's going to be lots going on for everyone in your country for the next couple of weeks. And guess what came in? The throat chakra. So that's also blue. So wear blue colors, blue crystals, to stay in peace. Stay in peace as much as you can, and try to not get pulled down into any negative kind of drama stories. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, this is amazing. Everybody's saying thank you, and thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it.
Everyone.
I would just say everybody stay real vigilant the next couple of days and keep your eye on everything because things are probably going to get pretty crazy, you know.
Stay on high alert. High alert.
Yeah. But don't live in fear. Stay on high alert, but don't live in fear, you know? Yeah. Like I think that's a good point, right?
I'm a warrior now. I get excited about just going out and doing grid work, and I just like deflect everything or transmute everything now. So I'm not at all in fear at all.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, PinkBella, and thank you. Do you want to tell everybody about how they can book a session with you and how they can find you and all that stuff? And thank you.
Yeah. So I think my details are below in the description box, and email is the best way to get a hold of me, you all. Thank you for following me on YouTube and Rumble and Telegram, because I'm back on Telegram as well. So I'm really grateful. Yeah. If anybody wants to work with me, that would be awesome.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And I have one more show today. Are you doing another show today?
Yeah, I'm going to do live on my YouTube channel since I'm camera ready. So yeah, I'll be on live in about 15 minutes.
Again. Yeah, so she'll be live again in 15 minutes, guys, if you want to check out her live. And then I'll be back on. I'm going for a long walk now. I'll be back on in 3 hours, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I have you might want to tune in for this one, PinkBella. I'm having this guy on tonight. His name's Dan Datillo. I found him on Facebook, or he found me. We found each other, you know. He's like a meditation master. He calls himself a ninja, and he does all kinds of he moves things with his mind, and he's going to do that tonight on the show. He's going to do some real telekinesis shit. You know, it's going to be really interesting.
I'll have to watch on replay because I'll probably already be asleep. But that's okay. No, I'm just kidding. No, I will. I'll check that out for sure. And you know what? I love that, Rob, because I think the more people we have on talking about our tools to protect our energy, because then what happens is then we're not in fear and we're stronger and we can be observers and help wherever we need to help as well. So I'll let you guys know the best diffuser is laughter and making jokes.
I agree.
Right. So I was out doing my grid work on Monday and I already noticed the collective was cranky from the full moon. Like everywhere I went, everyone seemed stressed. So I just made light and made jokes. I made their day, and that will diffuse the situation and the energy. So try that. Keep laughing, everyone. Thank you.
I agree. Well said. Yeah. And thank you guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. And we'll see y'all guys later, and take care, everybody.